a lot of clinical research. I'm a key opinion leader nationally and internationally. I've written textbooks. I did a lot of articles. So you may have seen them in Essence and Allure and all these other publications. So I guess I've come a long way in being the expert nationally on skin of color. So I just want to thank you for including me again on the panel. Thank you.
Next, I would like to introduce Renee Williams, and any of you all come to the salon? A few folks here. And so some of you have seen, either have seen her in the shop, you've seen her in some of the advertisements on social media. So she's not necessarily a stranger, but as a celebrity stylist, and besides she does our hair here, there are others that really rely on her expertise. Those, for example, she's in front of the camera. She's done hair sisters, Cicely Tyson, and et cetera. So when you think about who puts the trust, it's a lot of trust to put your hair into someone, even if we just go into a regular day job, but particularly if you're on the cameras and et cetera. So Renee, would you share a little bit about who you are and maybe some of the struggles you have had?
Sure. Thank you all for being here. Good afternoon. I'm excited to be on this panel. I'm just so honored. But I've been in business for about 20 years. I've taken many certifications with extensions to coloring to cutting, and I'm still educating myself. Each and every month I make sure that I continue my education. I'm here because I hear the stories. I'm that counselor behind the chair that tries to help everyone and find a solution. So that is what I am. I'm a solution-based oriented stylist. That's what I do. I try to figure it out for each individual. Everybody is a custom individual, and you have to treat each and every person like that. So for me, when I hear the different stories and trying to take the knowledge that I have and trying to figure out what is your regimen, what do you need, what will make your hair as healthy as possible, that's what I do on a day-to-day. And I get a lot of misinformation from clients of things that they hear or see on YouTube. It is what it is. Yeah. But I just try to educate my clients. That's the main thing that I really want to do, and I try to make sure that everyone understands that health is definitely a part of the process. You have to eat healthy. You have to make sure you're exercising. You have to make sure you're maintaining your hair. I don't care if you have extensions, your regular hair. You have to have a regular regimen in order for your hair to be as healthy as. So I'm just really excited for the questions. I'm here to answer whatever you want to know. I'm here, and
Thank you. No, this is great. This is great. Perfect segue, that those exercise and the health and et cetera. I'd like to introduce to you Alexandra Rome. And she was a college athlete. She's a professional bodybuilder. And she's the creator of RX Fit Club. And I'll let her share a little bit about that.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So delighted to be here on this panel. Really feel honored. I was asked maybe like 2 weeks ago, and just the story behind loving yourself from root to ends was just inspirational for me. So I've been in the health and fitness industry for about 12 years. It actually started probably way before college. I was in a sports medicine class, and I was fascinated with the body just off break in that class. Participated in sports my whole life. So fast forward, it's just been a part of me. But one thing I've noticed just through my professional career as a bodybuilder, I'm not the huge bodybuilder, clearly. More lean, tone muscle. But one thing I've noticed is just the struggle of loving who you are on the inside. Like that manifests to me on the outside. So I was doing a lot of physical activity, but when it got to a point where I wasn't playing sports anymore, I had to really figure out who I was. And that's what competing has done for me. And one thing that led into that, and I can go into that a lot further, but my dad passed away. and that was a way of me coping in those moments with that. So fitness not only helps me to look good on the outside, but it's what it's gotten me through in my life in those rough moments, and in the place where I find my most confident self and discover like the things that I'm capable of. So I'm a professional bodybuilder. Got my pro card in 2014 in 2 different organizations. One's a natural one, one's an unnatural one. But I'm a natural athlete. So going against unnatural competitors was definitely something that I wanted to overcome. I'm all for challenges and facing them head on. So I did that. But also what I've been able to do is train other people in those capacities as well. And those people have gone on to get their certifications and coach other people and create. So it's just that domino effect of me touching one person and what it has grown into. I don't want to talk for that much, but I have a lot to say. But this is very passionate. I'm very passionate about what I do. And just wanted to bring the champion out of me and for each and every one of you guys to discover who you are as a champion, not just in health and fitness, but in your lives. And this, just what I've accomplished is giving me the platform to do that, to speak to the hearts and the minds of women especially, and just the struggles you go with, and knowing that the fitness is a good teacher for you to realize your true self and what you're capable of, finding your voice, and actually having faith, allowing faith to ignite your transformation. And that's my tagline for RxFit. It's actually an experience of which you get with me as a trainer, coach, friend, aunt, sister, all of that. So that was my struggle. It wasn't necessarily with my hair or my body, but just the internal me. So thank you for allowing me to be on this panel.
And the last person that we're going to introduce, and I know many of you know her in different ways, some just by the name, is Diane Cole-Stevens, who's really was the brainchild of this, not only the company, but of doing more within the community. So many of you all know that not only does she own this company, it's a family company, and so you see her family that's represented here in day-to-day in the operations. She's also the founder of Cinderella Foundation, which is part of the community of really helping girls in the community to be exposed, to be able to help them through the resources, honestly, that comes and sits in her chairs here, to be able to expose them and give them opportunities that may not have been there before. So Diane, would you like to share a little bit about yourself and maybe a struggle that you've had?
I thought I spoke, but I'll speak. So, before I moved down here, I was working in corporate America, and I worked for a company called Mobil, and then it turned into Exxon years later. So at Mobil, I struggled with my hair, because back when I was at Mobil, if anybody remembers the French roll, now I didn't put like the pearls one up there. I wasn't that girl, okay? I'm not calling anybody out. But I did wear the French roll, and a lot of my coworkers said, "Oh, are you going out tonight?" I was like, "This gotta last me 2 weeks. I can't have it move, you know?" And then I realized, wow, they're paying attention to my hair. I can't wear it like this tomorrow. They're gonna think I didn't shampoo it. So I was struggling with that corporate hair thing way back then. So fast forward, Exxon came, and I wound up taking the package so I can go to beauty school. And my husband said, "You want to do what?" And I said, "Honey, my heart's desire is to be a cosmetologist." So I went to a salon in Georgetown, and I was sweeping the hair. I was the best sweeper. I was shampooing. I wasn't the best shampooer. I was tipping out people back then to do my shampoo for me. And then fast forward, God gave me a vision to when a woman of color comes in, or women with curly hair, or women with breakage, when they come into the salon, that they would feel like they were home. So then Cole-Stevens was birthed back in 2002. So we're coming up on 17 years. Thank you, God, for that grace and mercy. So then, as I created Cole-Stevens, I realized we have a lot of issues, ladies. So there's going to be a lot of charges that I expect you to do too. Now, being a salon owner, everybody's nice to me. Everybody's kind, but we're not always kind We're not always kind to the person that answers the phone. We're not always kind to the person at the grocery store. We're not always kind to people that are like maybe the server. There's something going on with us, and that's why I decided to, I don't know what we're going through. Maybe we're frustrated, maybe we got blood pressure, maybe we're working too hard. Who knows what it is, but I want to make sure before we leave here today that take it out on me. I can handle it. Call the manager of the grocery store. That's what they're there for. But we, out of our mouths, I want us to make sure we talk well to one another. We talk well to people that are in jobs that they're up and coming. And know who to contact and take it out on them. Because that's what they're trained to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we've got some things to go through with the Cinderella Foundation. I thank you for always supporting the Cinderella Foundation. Not asking for any money today. But with the Cinderella Girls, what I'm going to ask each of us to do today, what I would like for us to do, is when we see a young girl, maybe she's 5 or 6, she may even be 10, and if we see her at the grocery store, and you have to be mindful because you don't want to like stalk little kids, but just to say, your hair is pretty. It may be the first time she's ever heard it. And maybe it's her in church. Your hair is pretty. She don't need to know anymore. Just your hair is pretty. Let's start pouring in now. Because you know, when I was 5, 6, 7, you got a lot of hair, girl. Girl, sit still. Holding my ears.
Yeah.
You know, no one told me my hair is beautiful. You know, so I struggled for a long time in trying to feel like that was like I'm now full, I'm like a whole person. You know, I'm feeling beautiful. Now I still, when I shampoo my own hair, I don't wear my hair curly. I'm a straight natural, and I'm okay with that. Okay, but I do love that people are embracing their curly as well. I'm glad we're just like kind of like peeling off the layers. We're finally getting there. So welcome to Loving Me from Roots to End.
Thank you. So we all heard like mom shaming, you know, there's a debate between staying at home and working. Well, we're gonna take it a little further, so we're not doing any hair shaming. This conversation is really open. So it doesn't matter if you wear your hair curly, because I wear my hair curly sometimes. If you wear it straight, I wear it straight quite a bit. It doesn't matter if you put some clips, some extensions in it. That's not what we're here to debate about. It's your choice. And that's the great thing about most of the women in here is you have lots of choices. It's about healthy hair. And it's about what does it take holistically to be healthy. That's what have an end result of healthy hair. Okay? Can we all agree on that? Yeah. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, so next before we get into our discussion, and this truly is a discussion. As you all were coming in, I was trying to catch some of you all to share. I want you all to really engage and ask questions, and we'll have a conversation. But before we get there, Renee is going to do a little bit of a slide style modeling. So Renee, I'm going to turn it over to you and your model to give us a jump start.
Thank you, thank you.
Is this good? Perfect.
Before you get started, Renee, ladies, we have a few chairs here in the back. Those of you all who come in, you can come on back a little bit. We have a couple of chairs back here.
As well as upstairs.
Here we have Zaya. Now Zaya is the perfect example that we would like to do every single day, at least twice a day, get around. This is perfect. The style that she has is a twist out. Zaya's hair is all natural and she has a lot of hair, beautiful hair. But this style is something that she can wear for at least 3 weeks because she can wear it this way, she can wear it twisted down, she can work out, put her hat on while she's working out, take it off. When she's done, wear it out, and it's great. But it's a heat-free style, it's easy, it's manageable, it's carefree. The maintenance on it would be she would tie it up. She would, well, not even tie it up, but she would put on a satin bonnet at night because you really don't have to do anything to it. As you can see, I like to wear my hair big, curly because it works. Like I work out a lot. It helps it helps me not to have to do my hair each and every day. So this is a perfect time. You can do it with extensions or you can do it with your natural hair. It's very easy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm showing you her workout look. So this is one look, but I'm going to have her change and she's gonna do an evening look as well. So I'm gonna take it out and show you how to take it out. So as I'm doing that, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you. So we have our pre-workout look, and we hear often, that is one of the number one reasons why women of color do not work out, is because of hair. Or they limit the number of days and times they work out is because of hair. So very pertinent, very pertinent. So I think we have a raffle here. Yes.
And I believe the owner of this company is here, Laura Harper, and she wants to speak about it.
Sure. Get your raffle tickets out. All right, everyone have their tickets out? We are raffling off 1 hour executive of life account coaching, valued at $499. It's valid through June of next year. And it is with Harbor Edge, and I think we have Laura Harbor here. There she is back here. Would you like to stand up and share a little bit about the company? Thank you for donating.
I'm Laura Harper, the CEO and founder of Harbor Edge. I'm a professional certified coach. I help leaders, executives, and organizations to really elevate their game. And how do I do that? One of the speakers talked about solutions. I believe in helping people, coming alongside them to find solutions to help them to be the better leaders, not only in the organizations that they're in, but in their personal lives as well. So I provide life and executive coaching. And also I do image consultant. I'm a certified image consultant. I do business consulting and also training. So this is valued at $499. Again, I'm a professional certified coach internationally. And so I wanted to support Diane with this event because she does amazing work. She helps me with my hair. She helps other people, and I've seen how she's transformed lives of women, but also children with the work that she does with Cinderella Foundation. And I just want to share this because I know she didn't say she asked for anything for Cinderella Foundation, and she certainly has not asked me to do this, but I was recently at something with Diane, and me and a friend of mine said, you know what, first of all, have any of you all heard of Cinderella Foundation? Okay, so a lot of young ladies locally go to that, and how many of you know that we have 2 senators, right, that go into government and serve us? But I said, what if we all, or 2 of us, or a group of our friends, sponsored 2 girls from each state? So I said, that's what I want to do. So me and a friend of mine said, we want to sponsor 2 girls, and the girls that we're sponsoring are from Kentucky. So I hope that other people also sponsor people, whether it's from Maryland, DC, Arkansas, wherever. So I just challenge you all to get involved and also sponsor 2 young ladies as well.
Thank you so much. All right, was the name pulled? Do we have a name pulled?
Sorry.
Can I share that Nioxin and Wella family, they sponsored this event. They said they care about our community. They put a lot of money behind for food, for even the DJ Mike Scott, are you back there?
Yes, I am.
That's how all this sound and wonderful equipment takes place. Even down to the chairs, even down to my team and hauling all this stuff out of here. The U-Haul trucks down the street with all our furniture on it. All of that was supported by Nioxin, boxes of Nioxin, and they even gave us goodie treats in our bags, and my team will explain that later. So thank you to Bella and Sebastian and the Cody family. So I will reach it.
All right, and the number is, it's a red ticket, 666-9212. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Okay, we're gonna give away another gift, a little Cole Stevens little package. Let's put one more ticket out, please. We have a specialized calendar, Cole Stevens mug, I believe. 666-9242. All right, thank you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the conversation. I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. If you need to get up and go to the restroom, please do so. There's some refreshments. We're all adults, so don't feel like, I know sometimes you don't want to come in front and interrupt, but please do so as needed so we can be comfortable through the conversation. All right, ladies, so you all have had an opportunity to hear the panelists talk a little bit about who they are. They're experts in their fields, and how it contributes really to the holistic health, health, not wealth. We want some wealth too. But in the health, and in the health of the hair, and really the overall body. They've talked a little about even some of their struggles that they've had personally. Oh, wait a minute, here we are. This was quicker than we thought here. All right, Renee.
I'm gonna start taking it out, and as you guys are talking,
Okay.
you'll see how I'm.
Okay, perfect. So we have a little aside. Do you mind, maybe we can just move a little bit over so we do not cover the panelists as they begin some of the conversation. Perfect, right there. That is great. So as we're watching her in the background, can we start the conversation really in looking at the body before we get to the hair? And talk about what are some of the things that you all, as the experts, have realized that was important, whether it's in health, we're talking about skin, fitness, and some of the challenges you've had just day-to-day life. Let's think about beyond the body. Let's get to the roots of the situation. Anything you all would like to share in some of your work? Any other things? Yes.
So I'm trying to comprehend the question. So you want me to share like something internally or like just?
Yeah, just some tips about beyond, so we've talked about the hair. But before you get to the hair, let's talk about the body.
Okay.
Whether it's fitness or you're talking about within the health of the body.
Got it. Okay. Well, one thing that I've noticed, especially with women, Black women, we just don't work out because of our hair. But
Dr. Gordon.
Dr. Gordon was saying it's just the preventative part of it. And one thing with exercise, everybody has a heart, right? Yeah. So we look at like, okay, I want to build this muscle or I want to have these legs and things like that, but we also often neglect that exercise actually exercises the heart muscle. And when you're talking about preventative methods and actually having a healthy heart, that's one thing I really like to hone in on. In terms of my clients, in terms of myself, is just how can I be active? It might not be lifting a weight every time, but how can I get active? When you're at work, like, how can you be active, you know? When you're out with your kids, like, what can we do? What activity can we do? Can we park farther away from the store, you know? And walk? Can we take the stairs, you know, versus the elevator? Things like that. So, but also in the workplace, which I'll share later when we break off, is just kind of how you can stay active when you're at work, when you're at your desk and things like that. Just some things we might not even think about, but if we were more mindful and conscious of like just exercise, moving our bodies, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy, you can follow it and do it anywhere. So I'll share that later when we break off, but that's just my take and different ways you can be active during the day.
So holiday shopping, we shouldn't park closer to the door in the store?
Not at all. Especially since those are the times we're most busy, so we can't make it to the gym. So take take advantage of parking further away, yeah. Just wear a warm coat.
Any questions out here about some challenges or concerns you've had with working out? Yes.
I have a knee injury. I had surgery like 5 years ago. So I have a metal plate and rods in my knee. So it's certain exercises that I cannot do due to my knee injury. What would you suggest?
Good question. So, one thing I would suggest is stretching. So I'm a stretch therapist as well. So oftentimes we can't strengthen the legs or the body part because it's tight. So it's just like if you had a knot in a rubber band, you really couldn't stretch it or manipulate it because something's restricting it. So first and foremost, make sure you're stretching, or what they call foam rolling, or like myofascial release, where you're just releasing the tension in your muscles. And then from there, you can do things like straight leg lifts, like things where you don't have to bend the knee, right? Also, you can do you have a range of motion in it?
On a good day, yes.
On a good day, okay. In that instance, you can do things at the gym in terms of like the elliptical, things that don't require high impact movement. But if you turn the resistance up on those machines, they will actually work the leg muscles a lot harder than just, walking or, you having a low resistance as well. So those things like that, straight leg lift, just holding your legs straight, you have to work the quad muscles. So, no problem.
Great, thank you. Any other questions about health concerns? And she mentioned there's going to be some breakout rooms. I believe they're all upstairs. So even after the panel, as you have an opportunity and you come up with some questions that may be very specific to you, there will be different locations as well. Any other questions? Yes.
I guess what I struggle with is why I have my hair like this now is because when I work out, I sweat, and so my edges especially get kinky. And I really don't want to put heat in it all the time, but I also want it straight. And so, the whole gel that you see on YouTube, that's my best friend, so I really stick it down nice. And so I find that this is easier, or even, the whole natural look. But my husband's like, when are you going to get your hair straight? So I'm just wondering if anybody has any ideas or suggestions on what we can do. Of course, I can't remember the star that's on Facebook always advertising about the wrap. Yeah, does that work? Yeah, I don't know. So I'm trying to see, do I want to invest in that, or what are some solutions? Do we wear the scarf to the gym? What's up? I don't know.
I'm going to
Well, I'm going to speak briefly about it, but definitely straight is not the best way to go because it doesn't last and it does require you to put heat on your hair to be natural. Doing curlier styles is a better option, and that's just the reality of it. If you do decide to go straight, doing loose ponytails, pinning it up, nothing really tight will allow the air to get through it so it can dry quickly. But other than that, you can try and pin curl it, but if you pin curl it too tight, it's going to get wet. Those are the challenges that we have. That's why I say, realistically, wearing it straight is just not really a good option. But if you do decide to do it, things like a keratin treatment are good to help prevent it from reverting as quickly. But again, you're still facing the same challenge of having to do the maintenance after you work out. Diane, I'm not sure if you want to add.
I agree. I mean, trying to keep a straight, perfectly straight hairstyle while it's sweated on is not good. But going a little bit deeper, think about what sweat does, and it does dry a little bit of salt on your scalp. So we want to make sure before we work out, maybe a little dry cleanser to keep the scalp nice and fresh. Nice is a great dry cleanser. There are other brands. I use Wella oil or Moroccan oil. I'll put the oil near my scalp to the ends when I work out, and the sweat You know, the sweat is the challenge, because the sweat is what's giving you the dry ends. It's funny because your hair gets single on the scalp and stays there. It never trickles down. I'm not at an echo sound. You gotta do what you gotta do. But just remember, there's a lot of alcohol, a lot of dryness. So you're talking dry, you're talking salt dry, you're talking gel dry. Now we ain't got a hairline. Okay, I'm gonna stop and pass it on. So we're gonna talk more to the workout ladies, trying to keep a straight hairstyle. But it's okay to have a wavy roots. It's okay to have kinky hairline. You know, we gotta nourish it with a light oil. You know what we gotta do, ladies. Okay, I'm gonna let that go.
Thank you. And what we hear is part of it is it's embracing what we like within our hair as well. Is that what I'm hearing, Diane?
Yes, hi. Can you talk a little bit about how you maintain hair if you're swimming?
Now even harder topic. So swimming, you know, the best thing to do is a double protection. Maybe like, you ever have like a sleep cap? Like a sleep cap, something tighter? And then that will go on first, you know, maybe you have braids on underneath in the sleep cap. Make sure you saturate it with conditioner or an oil. So you're having like a double, triple protection against the salt water or the chlorine. And then, I know, a swim cap. A swim cap on top of that. Don't go with a shower cap. I don't want to see anybody. I have seen it, okay? You are not going to the beach with a shower cap. So double protect. So try to double protect, thinking of I need to protect my hair with an oil. I need to protect my hair with a leave-in conditioner. It's like double protection because we know that the chlorine can definitely dry it out. And you're going to have to rinse afterwards if it gets wet.
What about if you're wearing a weave?
If you're wearing a weave, I'm going to give that to the weave specialist.
If you are wearing extensions, you want to make sure that you rinse them out really well, like in the shower, just let the water run through it. Most of us do not know how to cleanse a weave properly, so I would say as soon as you can get back to the salon, get back there so you can get it shampooed to get all of the residue out of the weave.
Okay, thank you. Any other fitness questions? Yes.
My problem is, on Weight Watchers, when I start going back to the gym, I add muscle. So it kind of discourages me, because then my weight goes up. So, what's your?
That's a good question. So, you know, on Weight Watchers, that's the nutrition piece of it. But when you're building muscle, sometimes it looks like you're getting bigger because the body fat around the muscle is not coming down. So often the scale can be deceiving because we never know exactly what has brought your weight up, especially if it fluctuates like 5 pounds or less. But it's usually that muscle, and initially it's usually the muscle, your weight's gonna go up. Like your body's gonna hold on to a lot more water, different things like that, just to adjust to you doing something new to it, especially building muscle. But I would say don't get discouraged. Like I said, the faith, like trusting in the process, knowing that you're building the muscle, and some people tend to build more muscle faster than others. But if you know you're cutting the body fat as well with the nutrition side of it, then you'll come down. Like you won't feel as big or as bulky, because that's what I heard in terms of when you lift weights. Yeah, so it's just giving some time for the body fat percentage to come down as well.
And in fact, what you can do as you go through this process is to look at the inches, because almost always you're losing inches. And that encourages you to keep going. Building muscle is not a bad thing. Losing the fat is important, but almost always you lose inches along the way. So keep an eye on that to kind of encourage you so you continue in that direction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Gordon, go ahead.
I wanted to mention, like, just piggybacking off what she said, a good way is the waist measurement. So while you're building muscle in your extremities, your waist is going to go down. So to know that you're dropping inches like that, you really want to focus on the waist. So that's really going to give you a body, since you may not have a body fat percentage counter, then the waist is a good telltale sign for that.
Thank you.
Is there a good diet pill? I'm just asking.
Absolutely.
Dr. Gordon, you mentioned, and we've had lots of questions about, working out, and what does that mean? and what that does to the hair. How can we continue to work out and be encouraged to work out when our hair, we were challenged about how do we wear our hair then to go to work right afterwards. Can you just talk a little bit about the actual health itself, the body, and some of the challenges and things that people should be considering and think about that may then affect their hair and they're not even aware? I think you mentioned not being aware that high blood pressure can cause you to have the medicine or just the high blood pressure itself can have effects on your extremities. Can you speak about some of those issues for women?
So when we think about health and wellness, certainly exercise is key. It's one of our lifelines. And if we're not doing some form of it, we're really not tapping into that lifeline. And one doesn't have to get on the treadmill and jog. I mean, just walking around the block, walking a mile a day, you don't necessarily have to break a sweat, but a brisk walk. Any type of exercise, if you're at work, rather than using the elevator, take the stairs. You know, you've heard about the 10,000 steps that we recommend now that you try to get in every day. If you work in an environment where you have to send emails or texts, get up and walk around and talk to someone. So keep moving is the idea. Keeping physically active is really a huge lifeline that we have, and we should always tap into that resource. Now there are other aspects of health. One was mentioned earlier about stress. And stress, as we all know, I believe we can all say this, we know it's a killer. And managing stress is extremely important. If you do not manage stress on some form, in fact, I have, on an annual basis, I usually recommend to my patients to have a mental annual checkup. Because stress is a day-to-day experience. It's part of life. Once you're living, breathing, walking, you will have stress. Sometimes stress can be overwhelming. If you're doing multiple things, you may have job stresses where you have issues with co-workers or supervisors, you may have family issues, you may be taking care of a loved one who's extremely ill, you may have financial issues, you may have some hair loss, which can be very stressful. Lots of things we are carrying every day. And when that stress becomes chronic, the body reacts to stress, it responds to stress. The reason why we can still function despite stress is because there are lovely mechanisms within our bodies that allow us to cope with stress. We produce things like hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. And you know what cortisol does? It adds fat to your body. So you can gain weight because of stress, as well as having hair loss as a result of stress. So managing stress is key. If you can't do it on your own, if you have not found a mechanism, whether it's at the end of the day doing some breathing exercises or some muscle relaxation techniques, whether it's not at the end of the week you go to church, you get into some sort of a community where you're experiencing something good. I mean, just sitting here today, you know what's happening today as we huddle as women? Serotonin levels are kicking. That's a stress, that's a mechanism for stress relief. It's a neurotransmitter in our brains that allow us to deal with stress. So whatever mechanisms we use or we can find, we need to find them. Because if we don't, stress will take you down. Stress can cause heart attacks, it can cause strokes, it causes spasm in our blood vessels, and then we have a circulatory problem. I mean, it causes hair loss, we know that as well. We may have experienced that before. But stress is a killer. And if we do not have a mechanism, we need to find one. And if we don't know where to find one, we need to get help. See a therapist, see a counselor, help to find mechanisms that you have available to you that can help you manage stress. Because if you don't, it will affect you adversely, and there are huge consequences that can occur as a result of stress.
Is there a bill for that?
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing, because in my practice, I see a lot of women come in and say, I do everything that's taught here on the floor. I exercise, I eat right, but I can't lose the weight. I have this tire around my waist, and I'm shedding hair, and I got all these stresses and things. I think also it's put on women that if things are happening to them, kind of vague things like fatigue and stress and things, that it's because of what we do on a daily basis, but there could be internal things that are going on. And one of the common things that I see in my office is they have a high hemoglobin A1C, their sugar's out of control, and they don't even know it. So that is the first thing that I do on patients who come in. They give the same story, but I work out, I can't lose the weight. I say, okay, let's get some blood work on it. Because there could be a lot of things that are going on here. And a lot of times their hemoglobin A1C is out of range, their sugar may be normal, but what the hemoglobin A1C does is it looks at the past 3 months of how your sugar has kind of been. And so it can give, it's an index that tells us that it was probably more high than in normal.
And your heart rate. Many of my clients that I see, they often do not know their blood pressure or what the blood pressure means in terms of when I take the blood pressure and tell them what it means. Maybe we don't even have a scope to take the blood pressure. So these are things you really should know, I think, on a daily basis. Maybe not on a daily, but just weekly, just check, make sure your values are normal. That doesn't help me though, in terms of the wonderful thing that happens after 40, let's call it 45. Menopause, and how that affects our body. I had to educate myself through that process as my body changed. What do you recommend? I actually was not aware that, for example, that hypertension causes your hair loss. So what kinds of things does menopause also give us? Because many of us don't look like we used to when we were 45.
Okay, so I'm the dermatologist talking. I deal with that on a daily basis because I'll have women come in and they say, 6 months ago, I looked entirely different than what I do now. And there are a lot of things that happen post-menopausal. First of all, there are women who complain about the weight-bearing exercise is very important when you start getting osteopenia. So there are a lot of things that happen as we go through menopause. And one thing I wanted to comment about high blood pressure is last November, so a year ago, the standard changed. I don't know if anyone knows that, but it used to be 150 over 90. Now it's lower. I don't know if it's a conspiracy with the drug companies or not, making everybody hypertensive, but a lot of people in this room are now considered hypertensive. So keep all of those things in mind. But yes, there are a lot of changes that goes on with the hair, skin, and nails. I'll get people say, I got these ridges on my nails. Well, those are the wrinkles in your nails. Think about it in that sense. So there are things that happen with our skin, hair, and nails that occur postmenopausal. And the definition of postmenopausal is you haven't had a menstrual cycle in at least 1 year. So that's when you're going to see those issues.
There was a lot of ahas, didn't realize ridges or wrinkles in the fingernails. And I have a question for the doctors on the panel. So I've been doing a lot of research and I'm trying to figure out why we have so many hairline issues in our community. And I have noticed a lot of clients, after talking to them, the same shower cap for a full year. And they're doing the night sweats and they're also have the makeup on and back in the shower. And they say plastic really can't grow mildew, but some people may have it on their shower, the shower walls, or whatever you call the shower plastic, with the liner. So I'm assuming because there's some fabric around the hairline of the plastic. So I'm like, okay, so then you have when you wrap your hair and you put the cap on, and then also the satin bonnets. And then I'm thinking all this repetitive, moisture, hot sweats, night sweats, humidity, then you're back with it, and you might put it in the wash once a week. Shower caps, maybe not so much. Could you get a fungus? Or could there be mildew that gets on the scalp from those type things?
Anything's possible, but less likely. And I say that because when we look at things, you gotta look at 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. You look at men who wear a baseball cap all the time. Do the same things happen to them? No. The friction is different from losing the hair or the hair thinning out. Everything about our body ages. Women say over the age of 80 or 90, their hair is very thin. That's the natural course. They say once an adult, twice a child. That is so true. Everything about us goes kind of to infantile state. So the thinning of the hair is one issue. The breaking of the hair or the edges is a different issue. So as far as fungus, you typically see fungus in kids. So if you have a child and you're using the same brushes, potentially, but our immune systems really keep us from getting fungus on the scalp. So if I see flakiness in a young child's scalp, that's fungus until proven otherwise. If I see flaking in an adult scalp, that's seborrheic dermatitis or dandruff until proven that it's a fungus. And a fungus is diagnosed by plucking the hair out of the scalp, not scooping up the flakes and culturing it. It invades the hair follicle and the shaft of the hair. So you have to pluck the hair. And there's so many people that come in to see me and they'll say, well, my doctor said I didn't have any fungus on my hair, and I'm like, well, how did they culture it? That's my first question, because scraping it is not going to prove if it is or if it isn't. But plucking the hair will, and that's what we tend to do. So the immune system in adults keep us from contracting such fungal infections. Now, every now and then I will see it, and I always have the back of that in the back of my mind, but generally there's some children involved. Less than 10 years old who live in the household and they're using each other's combs and brushes and they're passing it amongst themselves.
Okay, 1 second. I know we have a lot of questions here. We have someone right here.
I wanted to backtrack a little bit to the stress issue and just ask anyone on the panel who wants to give their insight. What do you all feel about more Eastern medicine as far as like yoga and meditation to help with stress relief? I feel like it's something that Western medicine doesn't really offer or discuss very much. When you go to the doctor, and then in the community we don't discuss very much either, but I think it has exponential benefits that we aren't tapping into as far as stress reduction, just to take that time.
Well, one thing that I feel is very important, and I know people come sometimes to events like this to get answers, and so just to elaborate sometimes isn't enough. People want to know, well, what do I need to do? And antioxidants, like Dr. Gordon was saying, they're oxidative stresses, and what takes care of an oxidative stress is an antioxidant. So improving your diet in fruits and vegetables and those foods that are high in vitamin E, A, D, all of them really, it is very important. And vitamins, back in the 60s when one-a-day vitamin came out, that was unique because they thought, oh, I need to only take a vitamin once a day. Incorrect. A vitamin was designed to be taken with a meal, so 3 times a day, to accentuate and add to the nourishment that was in that meal. So we're taking vitamins even the wrong way. So it's very important to kind of know why these things happen, and you know, we're in the convenient type of world that one-a-day vitamin is not hitting it at all. So your anti do help the body to combat the oxidative stresses that we see that could be occurring.
Thank you. Can I go back to that fungus thing one more time? 'Cause I sent all my clients to Dr. Cheryl Burgess, all of those that can afford her, because it is what it is. So, she's the best dermatologist I've ever seen in my life. You know, she's got quite a resume. So back to the fungus. Now, I have white clients and I have black clients. I have all clients, Indian, Asian, you know, all clients. No one has a hairline issue though, except for African American clients.
So let me.
And one last thing, every dermatologist that they had this nice with this little shampoo. Who has not had that shampoo? The shampoo that the dermatologist did for the. Wait, show of hands who's had the shampoo?
I have been.
Okay, so Diane, let me.
Sure. So all I'm saying is, I don't have any Caucasian clients or anything. I'm just saying.
Okay, so let me comment on that. First of all, if you look at the diameter of the hair is thinner around the edges. Okay, so when you're getting relaxers put on or color, where do they start? They start on the edges. And what happens when this is a timed event? It's left on those areas the longest, okay? So you have structural damage, it's breaking the disulfide bonds, and so that's what happens. By having a chemical on your hair is a definition of breakage. It has to do that. The degree of breakage, it matters with the stylist and what they're doing and the timing of the procedure. So when you look at like a kitty perm or a, what do they call it? Texturizer. It's a relaxer. It's just left on for a shorter period of time. So those who get their hair chemically processed, color or relaxer, are going to have traumatic stress to the edges. So that's number one. Then there's a condition that we see in women, more so black women, it's called frontal fibrosing alopecia. And a good typical example is Stevie Wonder. So that his hairline is all the way back. That's not solely because he had braids in his hair all the time. It is a condition that we look at and we draw blood and we try to decipher, because some people it's related to a form of lupus. So it's important to look at that and see, is this traction alopecia or is this truly a medical issue? So I didn't want to go deep into medical things right now, but that is a condition we see an awful lot of, and it's becoming more common in my office. And so one of the treatments, one of the newest published treatments is Accutane, believe it or not.
Wow.
So it's important to get ahead of it right away.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, that was all at one time. I've been doing pretty good about catching the story here. We hadn't heard from this lady.
Okay, I do get concerned about losing hair. Praise God, I still have it. But there was male pattern baldness in my family. My older brother was bald on top by the time he was 25. I never remember my grandfather with hair. My mom lost her hair like on this side. She just started going bald. My sister has no hair at all. Okay, is that a